I have been a YouTuber for over 16 years, but you've probably have never heard of me. I've created multiple different channels throughout my entire time here on YouTube, made all sorts of different content, experimented with different ideas, but I never grew as much as I thought I would. So I wanted to reflect on my journey, share my experience with you guys, and talk about life as a failed YouTuber. For anyone who doesn't know me, hi, my name is John, and like I said, I've been on YouTube here for over 16 years now, and it's been very, very interesting. I'm also trying a different type of video here. I'm going to be really trying to talk just free flow without much of a script. I have some bullet points. This is a very different type of video for me, at least with some of the recent content that I've been making. So bear with me as I kind of just talk and express my thoughts and feelings about my journey here on YouTube. So when I say life as a failed YouTuber, what do I really mean by that? And I was thinking about it, and I feel like I've had goals throughout my entire time on here of hitting 100,000 subscribers or this many views on a video or being part of the partner program and all that stuff, right? And as I've gone on my journey here on YouTube, I've definitely become less concerned with the numbers and have focused more on just making the content that I want to make. And while I'm very happy making the content that I like to make, and I'm about to share with you guys like my entire journey of everything that I've done up until now, there are still parts of me that are like, man, I really wish these channels would have taken off at certain points. Looking back at certain things, I feel like I could have taken different actions, or maybe I didn't really know about how YouTube worked at certain points. And maybe getting into the flow of things later than most people might have. So my journey here is kind of divided into 3 different eras. And that's basically the 3 different channels that I've had. AsianBoy2468, John Rossy, and Elementality NJ, which is this current channel. So let me show you what my journey has been like here on YouTube. So my very first channel here on YouTube was called AsianBoy2468. The reason why I named this AsianBoy2468 is because I had a friend back in high school who had a YouTube channel, and that's kind of how I got into YouTube originally, was through a friend. He used to upload YouTube videos, and so his username was Headman1234. So I decided to do a spin-off of his username, and I went with AsianBoy2468. I'm half Filipino, and instead of man, I turned it to boy, and instead of 1234, I turned it into 2468. This is important because I feel like this is a common theme that I'll kind of talk about later in the video. So if we look at my oldest video here, I have Billy Joel, Piano Man on Piano. Piano Man on Piano. Yeah, and it's just a piano cover of this beginner. I actually spelled beginner wrong, apparently. But yeah, very basic. This is kind of when I was learning piano. And this video was posted on November 22nd, 2007. Oh my God. That's crazy. And since then, it's gotten 6,462 views. My very first YouTube video ever. So YouTube was a very new thing back then, and I would watch like some of the top people like Niga Higa and Smosh and Ray William Johnson, all those YouTube channels, right? Those were like sort of the beginnings of YouTube, at least for me. So as a musician, I think I wanted to use this platform to kind of just showcase my progress on piano, and I started doing more YouTube covers. One of my more interesting videos back then was Guitar Hero 3 Reptilia, hard 5 stars without looking.
Hey guys, this is John, and I'm gonna play Reptilia on hard.
Oh my God, I'm a baby in this video. Jeez, look at me. This video was posted November 23rd, 2007. And what was really funny about this video is that I got a lot of comments of people saying that it was fake. That, my guitar, half the guitar was off the screen, so it was probably it was a different person who was playing the guitar. It wasn't actually you. Or some people were like, oh, there's a mirror, so you were looking at the mirror. And just all these different comments of people saying that it was a fake video. But if you watch through the video, I mess up. It's not even like I had like a perfect score or a full combo or whatever, right? And it's on hard mode. It's not even on expert. It's just hard mode. It was just kind of like a fun, silly little video I wanted to do. 6,000 views, not bad. But yeah, the comments are so funny. Feel free to go check out the video and look at the comments and stuff. It's really, really funny. Now, if we take a look at my 3 biggest videos here, in top 3 here are Train, Drops of Jupiter on Piano, Shine Down, Call Me Tutorial, and Rise Against Savior on piano. Now, I'm going to kind of go backwards here. I may not actually showcase these videos here because I think they might potentially be copyrighted, because I do have the music playing in the background as I play along with the song. But for Rise Against Savior on piano, it's got 69,000 views. And a lot of the comments on that one, where the way my hand was shaped, it kind of looked like two right hands. The way my pinky kind of bent to reach the, I have small hands, so to reach the octave on the piano was kind of a stretch for me. And so it kind of looks like I have two right hands. So there were a lot of comments, people saying, wow, this is great, this is so cool. And then there were a lot of people saying like, oh, is this a fake video? There's two right hands, you got two different people playing it. I also didn't really have a great camera back then, so the quality, I think the video and the audio would kind of desync a lot of the time. But yeah, it was a pretty successful video. Now for my second most popular video, Shine Down Call Me tutorial, there's a little bit of history with this one. So in a lot of my piano covers, people would ask for tutorials. They wanted to learn the songs, how I learned them, and I often did just like the piano parts of the songs. I think back then a lot of people often did like chords and like the vocal melody on the right hand, and then just chords on the left hand. But I learned like the actual piano parts. And then if there was a song like Rise Against where there isn't any piano, I took the guitar parts and put it on the piano. So I still wasn't playing the vocal parts at all. It was just the music. So a lot of people would ask me, can you do a tutorial on this? So I think this is where one of my first mistakes happened here on YouTube. At least back then, I really wasn't interested in making tutorials. I just liked playing covers. I just liked posting my progress and just kind of showcasing songs that I liked and songs that I was kind of maybe being introduced to and experiencing during that time. So I didn't really have much of an interest to do tutorials. I was definitely a lot more shy and nervous back then to talk in front of a camera, be like, hey guys, this is how I learned how to play this song on piano. Not really something I cared to do back then. And so what I did here for Shine Down Call Me, I used the program called Synthesia, and I made a MIDI file of the piano part, and just, I didn't know how to actually like screen capture at the time. I don't even know if I had a computer back then necessarily. I think that's just on my laptop. And so I just took my camera and just pointed it at my laptop and then just hit play and showcased the notes. So a lot of people did appreciate that tutorial, but there were still comments of people being like, oh, can you send me the MIDI file? I think there was even a comment on there that was like, oh, I'm colorblind, can you tell me what part does what? Because I think I had the yellow notes were the right hand and the green notes were the left hand. So it's like, oh, if you just follow these colors, then you'll be fine. The left hand's doing the green notes are the left hand, the yellow notes are the right hand. But there was a comment on there that was like, oh, I'm colorblind, can you explain further? And me being as shy as I was back then, I just either didn't care to explain or to sit here and make MIDI files or fully like make a tutorial on a tutorial. It just wasn't really my thing. Now, why I think this is a mistake is that I feel like looking back at it now for, someone who has experienced YouTube as long as I have now, if I were to tell like if I were to tell my younger self, like, oh, you should do tutorials, you'll probably grow bigger. People are asking for it. So if you provided those tutorials, then maybe the channel would have grown. Case in point that this is my second most viewed video on the channel. I don't think okay. So I've done one other tutorial here. We the Kings, Heaven Can Wait. That might have been the only two. Yeah, those were the only two tutorials that I did. So I was kind of experimenting with the idea, but I didn't really have any interest in doing that for all the different covers that I did. So now we get to Train Drops of Jupiter. I don't particularly know why this cover blew up as much as it did. 98,000 views. Didn't hit 100,000 after all these years. It's so close. I feel like a goal of mine throughout my YouTube career is to hit 100,000 views on a video, and I have yet to reach that, even to this day. This is actually my most viewed video ever on all the channels that I've done, all the content that I've made. I have one video that I'll talk about later that kind of comes close to this, but technically this is my highest viewed video, and it was made 15 years ago. So really interesting there. One of my favorite videos on this channel, though, is actually this piano improv that I did called The Reality of Dreams, or, well, that's what I called it after I filmed it. But I remember feeling a lot of emotions that day, probably high school stuff, maybe some YouTube stuff, all sorts of stuff. It was one of the very first times I've sat in front of my piano and just played out my emotions. And this video is absolutely beautiful. I love watching this. I feel like I can reconnect with my younger self looking at this video. So the last video that I actually uploaded to my first channel here was Bach Invention 8. And in the description here, it even just says, just playing Invention 8 by Bach. May have played it a bit fast, part of the fact because my camera was about to die, and I didn't want to wait 5 hours for it to fully charge. But this video is mainly to show a friend that I'm able to play it. But let me know what you think anyways. So this YouTube channel was definitely just sort of a way for me to showcase my piano skills, the progress that I would make, learning all these different types of songs. Yeah, if I take a look at the video previous to that, this was uploaded on April 23rd, 2011. Another Rise Against cover. I really love Rise Against. April 19th. Okay, so these were kind of back to back. But Bach Invention 8 was February 18th, 2012. So there was definitely some gap in between me posting videos towards the end of this channel's like livelihood, I guess. And I'm not really sure why I stopped uploading videos to AsianBoy2468. I feel like one of the reasons why I stopped uploading to this channel is one, time. I think I was just kind of busy with a lot of different things and found myself not having as much time or energy to keep uploading to this channel. But I think I was in the middle of a rebrand and I wanted to have a different name. I wasn't really liking the username that I had came up with. Part of it might have been a bit of like imposter syndrome because I feel like I copied my friend's username, right? So I wanted to be something a little bit more original, something that was more me. And this is where we get to the John Rossy era. Now, the reason why I went with John Rossy, one, my first name's John, and Rossy was actually a nickname that some friends would give me back in high school, a spinoff of my actual last name. So this channel I started in 2014, so just 2 years after I stopped uploading to Asian Boy. Now, I actually have all these videos privated because I decided to go a different direction with this channel later down the line, which I'll talk about in a bit. Now, the origin with this channel, here, I'll play this maybe a little bit here. Oh, that's actually from my Bach. Oh, that's really interesting. That first video here is from me playing Bach Invention 8. Oh, I don't think I even realized I did that. Interesting. I feel like that's pretty cool, sort of this transition between my last video on my old YouTube channel and my intro to this new YouTube channel showcased a video from my last video from my last channel. Huh. So I had a YouTube intro that I would do here, and I basically just explained. I had a logo that I was going with. Back at that point, the bomber hat was more of my thing, and I kind of just talk about what I wanted to do on this channel. Or from a few open mics that I've been playing at. Some of you may even know that I used to upload piano covers on a channel by the name of AsianBoy2468. Maybe people knew. I've actually owned this channel for just as long as AsianBoy2468, but I never really did anything with it. Oh, I didn't even realize I had that channel for as long as Asian Boy. That's cool. So in this video and in a couple other videos, I basically explained this new idea that I had. So what I wanted to do was to continue making piano covers, but I wanted to mix the content that I did with original songs, because at that point I started making more original content and I was very creative and wanted to do more YouTube stuff again. But basically what I did, let's see if I can remember actually the process of everything here. But at the end of my YouTube videos, I would do a challenge, and depending on the result of the challenge would either result in original or cover. So for simplicity's sake, let's say we flip the coin, right? If it's heads, it lands on original. If it's tails, it will go to covers. And so we would do like games and challenges and stuff, and that would determine what video would be coming next. And then when it came to piano covers, I would have my friends involved, and I would choose 2 friends to suggest a song for me to cover. And then a lot of my other friends would have to vote on which cover they wanted me to do. So in a way, I was never really like picking what song I would cover. It was kind of a way for me to challenge myself and try out different music, try out different songs, and find a way to kind of get my friends more involved with the channel. And overall, kind of looking at these videos here, I have an original song here called Bomber Hat. Made a song about my bomber hat. Only 240 views. Another Rise Against cover here. I carried that over to this channel. More original songs, piano covers. This one's actually partially blocked in some countries. Oops. But all these videos have very few views. 240, 313, 168. So they never really grew into anything. Except This video right here, Super Smash Bros. Melee Fire Emblem theme piano cover. This was the first video on this channel that got 11,000 views, which was huge in the case of this channel, mostly just being within the hundreds. Looks like a couple here got 1,000, but this one had 11,000 views. And my second highest one here was Splatak from Splatoon. I was so into Splatoon 1 at the time, and just about 2,000 views, a little less than 2,000 views there. And then technically, my last video that I posted on this channel was 2016, at least at the time. So this era was basically just 2 years, 2014, July, August, September. So it was pretty consistent until this Journey Faithfully cover. And then I kind of stopped doing YouTube, it seems. Probably because I was playing Splatoon. But I did another cover there, and that did a decent amount of views. And then technically the last video I did for this channel at the time, we'll talk about what's there later. This was an original piano song that I made, and this was made in 2016. So here's something that I feel like I realized when I reached this point, and another reason where I think I made a mistake and didn't really act on what I should have been doing for the channel. And that thing is that my two top videos of that time were video game covers, Super Smash Bros. Melee and Splatak. And now reflecting back on it, I feel like if I had more of the time and the motivation to make YouTube videos, I probably would have focused more on video game covers because that seemed to have what was doing the best on YouTube at that time. But I feel like I really never grasped the content creator mindset at that time. Life definitely got in the way, and I quit YouTube again. Kind of. Sort of. Now, I was doing a lot of other things aside from YouTube. I was in multiple bands at that point, working a full-time job, obviously spending a lot of time with family and friends and relationships and stuff like that. But yeah, with just the combination of stuff like that, I stopped uploading to YouTube, and I felt like there might have been growth there, but I decided not to act on it. Now, I think I kind of want to skip ahead here. I did eventually start making YouTube videos again here on this channel, Elementality NJ, but we'll get to that in just a second. I wanted to talk about the revival of the John Rossy channel, but sort of the fall of the John Rossy channel once again. So if you take a look here, I actually have a couple videos that I uploaded in 2023, starting on August 1st, and so these are a lot more recent, and they are all One Piece related videos. Now, I'm a huge fan of One Piece, love the series, caught up with the manga, caught up with the anime, all that stuff. I watch all the YouTube theorists, and I think I was very inspired by a lot of the YouTubers, and I was like, well, I'm passionate about One Piece. Maybe I should make content on One Piece. So I made a theory video, and I also made this One Piece Chapter 1089 recap, but as a poem. I won't really talk about it because if there's anyone here who's not caught up and spoilers and stuff, I respect that. So I won't really talk about the actual content of the video. But what I was trying to do was recap the chapter and making original music to sort of support what was going on in the chapter. And I tried to make up my own poem that rhymed to match the chapter. It was really interesting. It was kind of a one-time experiment thing. I never ended up continuing doing more of them. I did a One Piece chapter review, and then I also did like 2 theory videos. And actually, one other thing that I made were shorts at that time, 2023. I had this idea where I would rank One Piece characters using a musical tier list. And I'll talk about musical tier lists in a bit. But I had a bunch of shorts that I would upload, and a few of them did pretty good at the beginning. And then a lot of them like 24 views, 44 views, like very, very few views. I don't really understand shorts. Even to this day, I feel like I still don't understand the shorts algorithm. I mostly kind of like posting full-length YouTube videos anyway. But yeah, I experimented with shorts for my One Piece content. Didn't do too well. It actually did better on TikTok. But that's a whole nother story for another time. So at this point, I was already doing Elementality NJ, and I was very creative with the things I wanted to do. And we'll get to Elementality in a second. But musical tier list is something that will kind of carry over into Elementality. But basically, I was trying to come up with all these creative ideas, trying to implement music in different ways that I feel like haven't been done before. A lot of people rank characters or TV shows or different types of media in a tier list, right? S, A, B, stuff like that. But I put it in a musical scale, so it went from B, A, G, F, E, D, C. But I feel like the problem with something like that is that it's almost too niche, maybe. or maybe I just didn't continue it enough, or even just like having friends pick different piano covers. I feel like a lot of these ideas weren't things that people were doing, which I think at the time I felt like, oh, that would be huge. Like, no one's doing this kind of thing. But then at the same time, like, nobody is searching musical tier lists because it's not really something that exists, right? I think I'm like the first one to do something like that. But because no one's really searching for that, nobody knows about it. The videos don't do too well. It's not really being searched for. And at least with the One Piece shorts, it was just a lot of work to keep up with. As much as I enjoyed doing them, it was just too much. So many other things going on in life. And it was really hard to keep up with doing these One Piece shorts and musical tier list rankings of characters while also focusing on Elementality NJ. Trying to balance two channels was very difficult to do. And I've come to the realization that I don't have to make content on everything that I'm passionate about, especially when I'm so focused on music and gaming and whatnot. So I stopped making content on One Piece, and I kind of just enjoy that off camera. So the John Rossy channel does come to a close here. And now we get to my main channel, Elementality NJ. This channel has definitely been the most successful that I've been here on YouTube. So Elementality was a band that I started in 2019, and once again, I kind of had this idea of doing something different that I feel like a lot of people weren't doing at the time, but I wanted to make a tribal Hawaiian rock band. But at least within my local scene, nobody was really doing that kind of style. So I wanted to do a new style, something that I'm actually really interested in, love sort of the feels and the vibes of like jungle and island and tribal and stuff like that. So I wanted to make original music using those types of influences, and the name Elementality is a combination of elements and mentality. Long story short, we did a couple recordings. Each song was based on the 4 elements: fire, earth, air, and water. And then we also did just other types of original music. So then the pandemic happened, and the band ended up going on an indefinite hiatus, and Elementality turned from a original band that we had into my online persona. So the first video on the channel was actually an original song. This is during the pandemic. A lot of us weren't meeting up at the time, and so we did kind of a at-home recording of an original song that I wrote, and everyone said in their parts, and we made a little YouTube video, and it was cool, and it was fun. And even a few videos later, we actually did a lyric video for our Air song called Free as the Wind. So from the pandemic, I had a few friends who started live streaming on Twitch, and that inspired me to also start streaming on Twitch myself. And what I would do is take videos, just clips that happened on the channel, and upload them to YouTube. Live reactions, I was really into looking at live reactions of like Nintendo Directs and trailers and stuff like that at this time. And so I started doing that. I was like, oh, I guess this is what it is to be a content creator, right? To upload live reactions, upload clips, and do that kind of thing. So a lot of my first videos here are live reactions. Paper Mario Origami King was actually the very first game I streamed on Twitch, so I have a few clips from that. I even had this channel redeem called Slots, and it was songs learned on the spot. And if somebody redeemed those channel points, whatever song was playing at that moment in the game, I would stop playing the game and listen to the song, learn it by ear on like piano or guitar, one of the instruments, and just try to learn the song on the spot. Songs learned on the spot, Slots. And it was a fun little thing, but again, it didn't really take off because that's not something people were really searching for. Plus, it's not really like explained in the title. Like, it just says Slots. No one would really understand what Slots is, you know. So scrolling down even further, there's a lot of different live reaction stuff. I really just went ham on watching different trailers and indie directs and Nintendo directs. I had a phase here where I did boss fights. I thought it was a cool little series where like I would just fight against different types of bosses. I guess this was Age of Calamity. So now I came up with this new type of content that I started doing on Twitch where I would play games using a piano as my controller. I actually have my piano right here. You can see it right here. Oh, it's a little off-centered there. But got the piano. I don't know if you can hear it. But yeah, I found a way to be able to use my piano as a controller for video games, between PC games as well as Switch games. There's a lot of like software and hardware stuff that you have to configure to get it set up. But it was something really cool and something I'm really passionate about. And I was still trying to find ways to incorporate music into content that I was doing. And this has probably been one of my more successful ideas up until this point, especially live on Twitch, because I had all these channel points where you can change the sound effect of my piano to different instruments, because I had Ableton also pulled up on the side, so I would pull up different instruments and So as I'm playing the game, like Mario Kart or Hades or Pokemon or Tears of the Kingdom, different sound effects would play, and people would also submit their own like meme sounds or community sounds. And to this day, I still do some piano controller gaming. And while I'm pretty well known in the communities that I'm involved in for piano controller gaming, when it comes to YouTube, it's just not something that people were searching for. Some of the videos that I've done on here were Undertale, Elden Ring. I fought Margit with a piano controller. Kohozuna from Splatoon. I beat Kohozuna with a piano. All sorts of stuff. I even did Celeste. The one video that did take off was me facing against the final boss in Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now, this was kind of more of a reaction video. The piano MIDI controller was kind of more on the side, and I think people focused more on my reaction to fighting the final boss in this game. But there were definitely some comments like, wow, wait, you're playing this on a piano? That's interesting. That's weird. But overall, aside from that, like the piano controller stuff just wasn't doing too well. 92, 76, 60. And so now I reach another point where it's like, I'm doing this really creative thing, or at least I think I'm doing this really creative thing. But maybe because people aren't searching for it, and maybe I'm not playing the right games with it. All these different thoughts kind of go through my head, right? And so I think one of my main struggles as a YouTuber is kind of coming up with all these really cool and unique and different ideas, but not something that people are either searching for or something that's really well known, or maybe I'm not implementing like the right thumbnails or the right titles, or YouTube meta is like so insane these days. And like I kind of follow it a little bit, but trying to keep a balance of like just uploading the content that I want to upload. But yeah, at the end of the day, they were not successful YouTube videos. And that can be kind of tough. It can be kind of tough to really pour your heart out on different ideas and trying to be creative, and doesn't really get the views that you kind of hope for. My brain is just always bursting with ideas and new ways to be innovative, and just trying to express my creativity in different ways. So now we come to my most successful video on this channel, Pokemon Gen 1 Cries on Piano. I learned the cries from all of the Generation 1 Pokemon from Red, Blue, and Yellow on my piano. So basically what I did was I took all of the Pokemon from Generation 1, took their cries, learned them by ear, and then played them on the piano. And so if I skip ahead a bit, you can kind of hear... Well, okay. So I do some funny stuff in this video. Of course, I skip to Alakazam where I'm just like slamming on the piano. But here, if you look further, that's Machop, Machoke, Machamp. Let me see if I can go back to the beginning here. On piano. So you get the idea. So what's interesting about this video is that I uploaded it in February 27th, 2023. When this video first went up, it didn't really go anywhere. But if we take a look at the analytics here, it got a couple hundred views within the first like 42 days, 43 days. From February to September, this video had about 1,423 views. And then I don't know what the algorithm did, but this took off. And I remember sitting here watching every day the views on this climb and climb and climb. And I was getting so excited. And I was like, oh my God, one of my videos is taking off. This is crazy. And look, 27,000 views, 34,000 views, 40, and just like October, 72,000 views, November, 81. And so then it starts to round out right here at 86,000. And at this point, I was like, okay, I need to continue the series. I need to make Pokemon Gen 2 Cries on Piano. A lot of people were actually asking, they wanted to see a comparison of the piano cries versus the original cries, because some people didn't remember what the cries sounded like, or it was like, it'd be really cool to actually see them kind of side by side. So I did make that video eventually, and I also eventually made Pokemon Gen 2 Cries on Piano. Now, if we look at my channel here, I actually did a bunch of other content in between Pokemon Gen 1 Cries and Pokemon Gen 2 Cries. Oh, I did the comparison video first, and then I did some other stuff I was experimenting with, and then Gen 2 Cries was, I actually only posted that 4 months ago from the date of this video. Let's see what the date on this is. I learned the cries from all the Generation 2 Pokemon from Gold, Silver, and Crystal on my piano. On my piano. January 8th, 2024. So from around like October, November or so is when people were really seeing Gen 1 cries on piano. And with life getting in the way and all this other stuff happening and the holidays and different bands that I'm in, it took me a while to actually get out the original versus piano comparison video, as well as the Pokemon Gen 2 cries on piano. So I feel like I might have missed my chance riding that wave. People were asking for Gen 2, people were asking for the comparison videos. And so if we look at the views on these videos here, original versus piano comparisons, only 5,000 views 7 months ago. Gen 2 cries on piano, only 1.9k views 4 months ago. Now, to be fair, Gen 1 cries on piano was also kind of in that boat, a couple months in, and it only had like 1,000 views, 2,000 views, something like that. So with the YouTube algorithm, I guess there's always a chance for any of these videos to take off randomly. It can happen again, and I guess I'm trying to sort of recreate that boom in views and exposure on YouTube. But so far, it hasn't really happened that way. So I started experimenting with other ideas, Route 1, but played with its wild Pokemon cries. And now that's a series that I'm kind of making where I go through the entire Kanto routes, and the wild Pokemon cries are performing the song that plays on that route. It's very memey, but I enjoy it. I think it's very funny. And what I actually love about it is that people comment like, oh my god, Rattata sounds amazing. Magikarp was the best on this. And it's just funny seeing people comment and cheer on their favorite Pokemon, even though they all sound pretty awful. I memorized the Kanto Pokédex, more live reaction stuff, Lethal Company, so a bunch of other random videos and stuff. Here I started bringing back musical tier list. I'm trying to see if I can incorporate that once again. This time I went through ranking 8 Paper Mario characters with musical tier list, and so I made a whole video ranking all the partners from Paper Mario. And again, think it's a cool idea, but it only has 1,000 views. It's only been out for about a month or so, so it could still take off. But it's hard to make time to do a lot of videos and a lot of different ideas while also working a full-time job and doing all sorts of other things outside, being in 3 bands currently. Life gets very busy, and my dream is to be a full-time content creator, full-time streamer. I still strive to do that. But I kind of find myself in this boat of, well, if I want to be a full-time creator, I need to make content. But it's hard for me to make content because life, like full-time job, gets in the way. But I can't leave my full-time job unless I'm successful on YouTube. But I can't be successful on YouTube because I'm stuck at my full-time job. It just becomes this whole loop. And on top of all that, like just all of the ideas I tried across multiple channels and seeing some success in some things and mostly not success in a lot of other things. So it can be quite of a struggle. And so when I think about life as a failed YouTuber, it's just the fact that I've been at this for like 16 years. It's really crazy. But it's also the fact that I've been doing this for 16 years. I'm still going. I'm still making content. Yeah, I've taken some breaks here and there, but I've come back. And as I mentioned, like I'm always full of ideas, and I think the creative side of me is always going to push me to want to try new things, keep throwing spaghetti at the wall, keep attempting to pursue my dreams and goals and, try to make it happen. And I think I can. I believe I can. And especially in the most recent years where I've been seeing the most success on this channel. So yeah, I'm just going to keep going. I am in the midst of a slight rebrand for the channel, and while I'll talk about that more in a different video, I am actually really excited for what's to come. I have a lot more new ideas, and I'm going to continue making content. I've been doing it for 16 years, and here's to 16 more. So if there's anything you can take from this video, it's just don't give up. Don't give up. Am I a failed YouTuber? Yes and no. Yes, because maybe it's just taken me so long to get to the point where I want to be, and it feels like, oh, I wish I could have gotten there sooner, and all these other people get there so much quicker. But I'm here now, and I'm going to take advantage of what I'm creating now. We'll see where it goes, and we'll see what the future holds.